Hi guys, and welcome to another new Football Manager experiment, and today it's quite a bizarre one. This was a request made a few weeks ago and it got quite a few likes when it was suggested, and what I have done is swap the English Premier Division with the Blue Square Premier Division in England. Now 4 of the teams from the Blue Square are going to have to remain in the Blue Square Premiership because of competition rules. So there's 20 teams in the English Premiership, and there's the likes of Barrow, Ebbsfleet, Kidderminster. And then the Blue Square Premier, you've got all the Premiership teams plus 4 teams: AFC, Telford, Alfreton, Gateshead and Hyde. Those 4 will most probably go down, which will prevent the actual Premiership teams being relegated even further down the league. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to holiday at 5 seasons, and I'll do a brief sort of explanation of how the teams have got on after each season, and then see where all the teams end up. Can a couple or 3 Premiership teams make it all the way up to the top division? How will their finances get affected? It'll be interesting to see what will happen to them and what sort of players they keep hold of and who they sell, and just see what happens. I mean, inevitably, I reckon the Championship teams, current Championship teams, will probably end up winning the Premiership in the second season when they get promoted. But we'll have to wait and see. So I'm going to holiday at 1 season, see how we get on. So at the end of the first season, Grimsby are the champions of England, with Wrexham, Luton, Macclesfield also qualifying for the Champions League, and Mansfield the Europa League. Woking, Nuneaton and Dartford were relegated. Player stats wise, Brett Ormerod was top scorer for Wrexham, 17 goals. Joe Jackson with 16 assists. Sam Hutton for Grimsby was top with 12. Just have a quick look at the Championship to see who will be in the Premiership next season. Hull, Middlesbrough and Watford got promoted. So in the Blue Square Bet Premier, Man City won the league and Man United got promoted in the playoff system. So both Manchester clubs going up. Relegated with the 4 teams you would expect: Alfreton, Gateshead, Hyde and AFC Telford. West Ham, bottom of the traditional Premiership teams, although they did win 20 games. It was their draws that let them down. Arsenal won the FA Cup against Stoke on penalties in the final, so they qualify for Europe. Brighton also qualify for Europe as they won the Capital One Cup against Cardiff. For those of you interested in the Champions League, Real Madrid won the final 3-0 against PSG, and Tottenham also qualified for Europe next season after winning the Europa League against Inter Milan in the final. In the 2012 transfer window, all the big teams didn't actually lose any of their players, so it'd be interesting to see if they managed to hang on to them in this transfer window. But so far in 2013, some players have left: Hernandez, Santon, Gutierrez, Coleman. So there's been a few transfers, and it's going to be interesting to see how the current Premiership teams, in terms of the traditional Blue Square Premiership teams, if the money coming into them from Champions League football and TV money from the Premiership, will that affect them? Will they be able to push on and become big teams, or will they eventually fall away after 5 seasons? And also, how will the finances of the real life Premiership teams in the Blue Square Premiership, how will they cope? Will they go bust? So we'll holiday it to the end of the second season and see what happens. So at the end of the second season, predictably, a newly promoted Championship team won the league. Watford won it with 93 points. They only lost 3 games all season. Hull got 91 and Middlesbrough got 86. So all 3 teams getting huge points totals. Luton also did very well, getting into the Champions League with 62 points. And Cambridge also qualified for Europe, as did Braintree. So I don't know how they did, but we'll find out a bit later. Ebbsfleet, Tamworth and Barrow got relegated. Stats wise, we'll look at the top scorers. Jonathan Walters for Hull, that guy. Djukiewicz, the Polish dude, got 20 goals for Middlesbrough, and Billy Sharp got 19 for Watford. Lyle Taylor, 17 for Wrexham, and Forestieri, 17 for Watford. Top assist was a Grimsby player, David Worrell, and Gwion Edwards got 10, as did Jonathan Walters. Jonathan Walters was just brilliant. Down to the Championship and the teams that got promoted: Forest, Wolves and Cardiff. Relegated, quite predictably, Nuneaton, Dartford and Woking. It looks like they're probably going to fly down the leagues now, the 3 that got relegated first season. Down to League 2, and Man United won the league with 131 points, only 1 defeat. Man City unbeaten all season, but 4 draws meant they finished behind Man United in second place, 130 points. That is incredible points totals. Carlos Tevez 30 goals, Van Persie 27, Welbeck 27, Rooney 26, James Constable 23 for Oxford. Assists Rooney and Silva, Kagawa. So they've still got all their big players. In the Blue Square Premier, Chelsea and Swansea got promoted. So Liverpool, Tottenham, Arsenal still stuck in the Blue Square Premier after 2 seasons, but Chelsea promoted 104 points. Relegated Gainsborough, Salisbury, Halifax and Tonbridge, the 4 teams that came up. Accrington and Barnet, who went down from League 2, just about survived. Wigan 59 points, West Ham 61. Pretty high points totals for the bottom placed Premiership teams. Man City won the FA Cup against Chelsea 2-1, and Man United won the Capital One Cup 3-1 against Watford, which means they qualify for Europe. In the Champions League, Barcelona won. In the group stage, Wrexham somehow got 2 draws in their group, and Luton got 1 draw, and Grimsby got a draw as well. In the Europa League, Napoli beat Athletic Bilbao in the final, and in the group stage, Macclesfield managed to get 2 draws. Brighton almost qualified, 9 points there. Tottenham qualified from the group, but obviously didn't go on and win it in the end, and Arsenal also qualified. These were only the major transfers in 2013, so most teams hanging on to their big players. And in 2014 so far, Bakary Sagna's left for Dortmund, Rachina's left Blackburn, Dempsey's left Tottenham, Oviedo's left Everton, because they've still got money and their finances haven't been affected yet. For example, if we look at Arsenal, who are still stuck in the Blue Square Premier, they are still rich, despite not having much money come in from competitions. I guess they're still playing in Europe, so that's not affected them too much. They're still getting TV money from there. They're just missing out on the Premiership money, but they're still getting huge gates. At home against Barnet, yeah, still they're only getting 38,900. Home against Norwich last day of the season, 37,000. So it's gone down a lot, but they're still getting quite a few people turning up for games. On the other hand, a team like West Ham are still getting a full capacity for a game against Arsenal at home, 35,000 turning up. But yeah, that's the end of the second season. I'll holiday it to the end of the third and see how we get on. So now it's the end of the third season, and as you can see, Hull City won the Premiership, with Watford, Nottingham Forest and Cardiff qualifying for Europe. Hereford, Stockport and Braintree got relegated this season. Top scorer was Benteke for Watford, so he moved to Watford. Second place is Tuku Dien for Hull. Simon Cox third. David Worrell for Grimsby was the top assist maker. Lansbury second. Tom Kearney third. In the Championship, Burnley, Bolton and Leeds were promoted, with Barrow, Tamworth and Ebbsfleet getting relegated. In League One, Woking and Dartford finished 8th and 9th, so obviously finances has helped them out and they've managed to steady themselves in League One, but Nuneaton did get relegated. Man United and Man City predictably finished first and second, 124 points for Man United. And Danny Welbeck and Wayne Rooney were top scorers with 24 goals. These teams, their finances haven't been affected. They're still getting good crowds, and they haven't sold their big players. They haven't wanted to leave because quite often these teams are qualifying for Europe as well because they're winning the cup competitions. In League 2, Chelsea and Swansea got promoted. Huge amount of points for Chelsea. Didn't lose a single game, 126 points. Relegated AFC Wimbledon and Aldershot. Top scorer was Lukaku with 24 goals. Juan Mata with 27 assists as well. In the Blue Square Premier, Tottenham and Liverpool were promoted. 107 points for Tottenham. Southampton also got 100 points, but Liverpool won the playoffs. Arsenal still haven't gone up. Relegated Barnet, Sutton United, Vauxhall and Boreham Wood. Wigan and West Ham at the bottom of the traditional Premiership group once again. This season, Peter Crouch and Shane Long, top scorers with 31 goals. Giroud got 30, Darren Bent, Becchio also up there. Park Ji-sung, top assists, along with James Morrison. The FA Cup was won by Liverpool, 3-2 against Watford. They seem to be getting to quite a few finals, Watford. And Man City also won a cup, beating Chelsea 3-0 in the Capital One Cup final, which means they qualify for the Europa League as well. I forgot to talk about the FA Trophy actually the last couple of seasons. Completely forgot about that competition. Tottenham won it this year against QPR. Last season was Swansea and the year before was Tottenham again. And the Johnston's Paint Trophy, Man City won it this year against Swansea. Last year was Man City as well. Previous season was Bournemouth. The Champions League is won by Dortmund 3-1 against Juventus in the final. And in the group stage, we look at the English teams. Watford finished third in their group, 8 points though, did very well. Middlesbrough also finished third with 4 points. And Hull finished third with 7 points. So the Championship, modern day Championship teams, didn't do too badly in the Champions League. The Euro Cup was won by Man United, so they qualify for the Euro Cup next year as well. In the groups, the English teams, third place for Luton, 4 points. And Man United obviously finished top of their group and went through. Cambridge, bottom of their group with 3 points. Major transfers so far this season. Kevin De Bruyne in January went from Chelsea to Juventus. Leighton Baines went from Everton to PSG. Debuchy, Newcastle to Marseille. Bennett. Anyway, you can see the list there for yourself. So, that's the end of the third season. This video is going to be quite long because it's a long, drawn-out process. 5 seasons, that's what was requested. So, apologies for it being really long. But yeah, let's crack on with the 4th season. So now we're at the end of the 4th season, and Hull City have won the league for the 2nd time in a row, and Watford have finished 2nd for the 2nd time in a row. And Luton Town have really pushed on. Obviously, they probably are the biggest team in the Blue Square in real life, and they've got a decent stadium, and I'm assuming their finances have improved. They definitely have improved. They are rich, apparently, and an estimated value of 157 million. So their time in the Premiership has really benefited them. So some clubs, this has really benefited them. 3 seasons, 4 seasons in the Premiership. Cardiff and Nottingham Forest also qualified for Europe, and relegated was Newport County, Lincoln and Southport. One thing I have noticed is the reputation of the Premiership has gone down to 4 stars now, mainly because obviously they haven't done well in Europe. So, and also there's only 3 Champions League places available now, simply because they've done so poorly in Europe, because obviously at the start we had such poor teams. So it has had a massive impact on the English Premier Division as a whole, reputation wise and European wise. In the Championship, Man United and Man City have been promoted to the Premiership. Once again, United ahead of Man City, winning the league with 120 points. Man City 119. Blackburn also promoted. Relegated, Preston, Tranmere and Bristol City. Seems like Stockport survived. Brentford are in there. Coventry. Top scorer was Stuart Beavan for Barnsley with 28 goals. Aguero 23 goals. Rooney still playing for Man United. In League 2, Chelsea and Swansea promoted, 119 points and 99 points. Sheffield United also went up. Relegated MK Dons, Oldham, Carlisle and Bury. Barrow have survived. Dartford and Woking got into the playoffs, so they've steadied themselves in League 1. Ebbsfleet also, and Tamworth. In League 2, Tottenham won the league with 126 points, plus 100 goal difference. Only 17 goals conceded. Liverpool only conceded 14. They went up in 2nd with 121 points. And Shrewsbury also went up. Obviously, with only 2 teams going up each season from the conference, it does mean another 2 teams possible can go up from League 2, with Nuneaton getting promoted again. Well, not again, but, you know, they went down and they've gone up again. Relegated, Gillingham and Exeter. And in the Blue Square Premier, Arsenal finally promoted as champions. Norwich was 2nd, but Stoke won the playoffs, getting promoted. West Ham and Wigan weren't the bottom 2 traditional Premiership teams in Blue Square this time. It was Sunderland and Reading. Relegated was AFC Wimbledon, Halifax, Salisbury and Havant and Waterloo. The FA Cup was won by Hull City, who also won the league, of course, so they completed the double, beating Tottenham in the final. Capital One Cup, Hull got to the final, but Nottingham Forest beat them on penalties. Liverpool beat Tottenham in the Johnston's Paint Trophy final. That's just so odd seeing that. And the English FA Trophy was won by Fulham 2-0 against Southampton. Champions League was won by Barcelona 1-0 against Bayern Munich in the final. And let's see how the English teams did in the group stage. Watford, bottom of their group with 3 points. Who else? Hull finished 3rd. with 9 points. The Europa League was won by Atletico Madrid 1-0 against Marseille. Man United won their group, but obviously didn't go on and win it. Liverpool also qualified in second place from theirs. Man City top of their group. Nottingham Forest also top of their group. So very good for the English teams in the group stages of the Europa League. Major transfers in England. Nathaniel Chalobah going from Chelsea to Hull for 6.5 million. You can have a look at that. Kone went from Wigan to Nice. And if we have a quick look at the England team, you can see where all the players play for. Most players still at the original clubs, but Shawcross is at Atletico Madrid. Stephen Cork is at Man City. The rest of the players are pretty much at the teams they play for in real life. So we go one more season to the end of the 5th season. Thank you for sticking with me if you've got to this point so far and you've not fallen asleep. We finally made it to the end of the 5th season, and Man City won the league with a massive 98 points. I think that's a record, isn't it? Only losing 4 games and drawing twice. 99 goals scored. Man United second, and Hull get the last Champions League place. Watford and Bolton get into the Europa League. Relegated Mansfield, Forest Green and Macclesfield. So the 2 Manchester clubs eventually got to the Premiership, getting promoted every single season. And goals wise, Alex Alvanja, top scorer for Hull, 21 goals. Rooney second with 19 goals. Benteke third with 18 for Watford. Will Hughes, the Derby player, top assists player for Man City. In the Championship, Chelsea won the league with 108 points. Huddersfield and Derby also promoted. Swansea didn't go up, so they'll be stuck in the Championship for another season. So after 5 seasons, 3 teams have made it to the Premiership from the Blue Square Premier. Relegated, Birmingham, Stockport and Southport. And goals-wise, top scorer, Jay Simpson and Oldoni and Alua with 22 goals. Assist-wise, Paul Dixon with 18. In League 1, Tottenham and Liverpool both got promoted to the Championship, so that means next season there would be Swansea, Tottenham and Liverpool from the original Premiership teams in the Championship. Barrow also got promoted via the playoffs. That's interesting. Also Woking, Dartford, Nuneaton doing well from the Blue Square Premier teams. Tranmere, Portsmouth and Bristol City and Swindon all relegated. In League 2, Arsenal convincingly won the league with only 1 loss, 129 points. Stoke also got promoted, as did Chesterfield and Wickham. Relegated was Bristol Rovers and Bury. And in the Blue Square Premier, Newcastle and Southampton promoted. So the only original Premiership teams left: West Brom, Villa, QPR, Norwich, Reading, West Ham, Everton and Fulham and Sunderland, who were the first team to finish below a non-Premiership team, and Wigan as well. So Wigan and Sunderland, 2 teams, first 2 teams not to finish above non-Premiership teams. Darren Bent and Agbonlahor both got 33 goals for Villa this season. Lafondra did well for West Brom with 31, Mayuka, Gouffran. Assist-wise, Jack Collison went to Norwich, 18 assists. Man United won the FA Cup, 1-0 against Chelsea in the Bolton won the Capital One Cup 3-1 against Wrexham, who are still in the Premiership. Liverpool won the Johnstone's Paint Trophy again, 2-1 against Tottenham. And Aston Villa won the English FA Trophy 2-1 against Newcastle. Champions League, Real Madrid beat PSG in the final. And the English teams in the Champions League, Watford finished 3rd again with 8 points. Hull finished 2nd, they got through the group stage this year. Inter Milan won the Euro Cup, with Cardiff winning their group. Luton finished 3rd in their group, and Nottingham Forest also finished 3rd. Tottenham went through. Transfers wise, the biggest was Adrian from Sporting to Bolton for 8 million, and Dele Alli from Birmingham to Lincoln for 6.5 million. Lincoln spending money, and Cambridge and Macclesfield, all these teams spending a few years in the Premiership and getting money to be able to afford decent players. So that's the end of this experiment. It was very long, apologies for that, but 5 seasons, a lot of detail. So what I've done is, because even with all this time that I've spent doing this video, there's things that obviously I didn't show, so I'm going to put the save file in the description below. All you need to do is copy that file into your Sports Interactive folder in your documents, and put it in the folder with all your saves, and then open it up. I'll also put the database file as well, so you can have a go on the database if you want to manage one of the teams. So thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe and comment in the section below. That would be much appreciated. So massive thank you for watching, guys, and if you managed to get all the way to the end, big congratulations. It was very long. So I'll see you in the next experiment. See ya.